Hello, humans. Uh, hello, humans. How's it going? Um, well, todos somos humanos y ahora vamos a aprender unas palabras irregulares, unos verbos irregulares en el pretérito. We're going to learn some irregular preterite verbs. So let me go ahead and share this screen with you. All right, so here are the preterite irregular verbs I would like to share with you. And remember, we always use this format up here in the corner that I have here. See the format right here? This is the format that we always use. What does yo mean? Yo means I. Tú, you. Él, he. Ella, she. It is a subject, so sometimes it does a verb, right? If I say like my pen, it writes. So he writes, she writes, it writes, right? But if I write, then I don't put an S. I write, you write, we write, you guys write, they write. But it writes, he writes, she writes. And so it is the third person and goes in the category of él and ella, he and she. Usted also conjugates the same way as the third person, even though technically it's the second person. Nosotros, we, vosotros, you guys in Spain. Ellos and ellas mean they. Ellas being the feminine form. And then ustedes, you guys in Latin America. So I'm glad we remember all of those. Now, these are irregular preterite verbs. If you guys don't remember how to form the preterite conjugations, please go back and watch my video on preterite versus imperfect, and I go into detail about it there. But here I just want to talk about these irregular verbs and the way that I categorize them to help me remember them. Eventually, it just becomes automatic and you don't really need help to remember them. But at first, it might be helpful to look at the similarities. So, for example, estar. Estar in the preterite is irregular. You don't say yo esté, you say yo estuve, yo estuve. And so this little uve right here is irregular. It's not the typical preterite tense ending that you would see with regular A-R-E-R-I-R verbs in the preterite tense. So you have estuve, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos, estuvistes, and estuvieron. So you'll notice that those are similar to tener, to have. And so you say, I had, yo tuve, yo, or tú, tuviste, él tuvo, or ella tuvo, she had. Ella tuvo una cartera. She had una cartera, could be wallet or purse, depending on what you're talking about. Ella tuvo una cartera. She had a purse. Tuvimos, tuvisteis, tuvieron. And so these are similar. You will notice that estar and tener have similar preterite conjugations. And so they're friends. Also, we have querer, poner, and hacer. Querer, poner, and hacer have similar preterite conjugations. Quise, quisiste, quiso. Well, look at this. Puse, pusiste, puso. They have that S sound. And I mentioned this in another video, but the hacer makes an S sound, even though it's spelled with a C. Hacer. Unless you're in Spain, then it would be hacer, right? But it's hice, hiciste, and hizo. Notice that in the preterite third person, the C turns into a Z. And then you have hicieron, hicisteis, and hicimos. So all of these ones, they sort of are friends as well, in my opinion. I think they're all friends. These ones here are a little bit different, but they still sound about the same, or at least in Latin American Spanish. Ise, puse, quise, right? Quiso, puso, hizo. All right. Now we have the ones that, let's talk about these ones that have like a J. So yo dije. Decir, to say, I said. Yo dije, right? Tú dijiste. Él dijo, and etc. And you also have like a traje. So basically all of these ones, traducir and also conducir, all of these ones get a J. Yo conduje. Yo traduje. Yo dije. So they're all friends. All right, so saber, which means to figure out in the preterite, because saber means to know. But remember, if the preterite, which happens at a specific point in time, is said to say to know, but at a specific point in time, that means that you knew it at that specific point in time. Or in other words, you figured it out. And so the meaning kind of changes. Yo supe. So yo supe, or I fit, yo coupe. See how they both have like a UP thing going on here. So supe, supiste, coupe, cupiste. So these ones are all kind of similar. And then we have these ones that where in the third person you get like a Y. So oír means to hear, and leer means to read. But look in the third person, you'll notice that you get like ellos oyeron. It has that Y right there. Or oyó, right? Leyó, leyeron. And so oír and leer are similar. Also, a third person stem changer is morir and also dormir, where the O turns into a U, but just in the third person. So you have murió, murieron, durmió, durmieron. Then the interesting thing about ir and ser is they both have the same preterite conjugations. And so yo fui means I went or I was, depending on what you're talking about. So, and that's not to be confused with I was in the estar form. You can check out my video on ser versus estar as well. Even though it's in the present tense, the same rules apply for ser versus estar in the preterite tense, or any tense for that matter. So, yo fui, tú fuiste, él fue, fuimos, fuisteis, fueron. All right, and then there's going to be a little exercise that we're going to do here in a little bit. But these ones, their ir and ser are the same. They're the same. Dar, poder, and venir are all different. And so I don't really categorize these with any of these ones. These ones are like loners. Now there's other ways to categorize these where these actually would go with some of the other ones, but this is the way I like to categorize them. All right, let's go ahead and add in some vocabulary. So, does anybody know what el libro is? El libro. El libro is a book. A book. All right, what does ganar mean? Ganar means to win or to earn. Sometimes it can mean to earn. All right, so what about el carro? What does el carro mean? Car, el carro. And what about, well, we know what ir means. Ir means to go. We have it right here, ir ser. What about dinero? El dinero. El dinero means money. All right, now I'm going to test you guys and see if you can form these sentences in Spanish. And we're going to use just words that we have up here. But try to do it before I write it down. Okay? So let's say I translated the book. I translated the book. How do you say I translated the book in Spanish? I is yo. Translate is, it's in there. Where is it? Traducir, right here, traducir. What's the yo form? It's one of the J's. Traduje. Yo traduje. How do you say book? El libro. I translated the book. Yo traduje el libro. All right. Now let's say, were you able to win? Were you able to win? Were you able to win? How do you say to be able to? How do you say to win? Were you able to win? I'll give you a clue. It starts with an upside down question mark. I guess in English it doesn't have one of those, but in Spanish it does. So you, and let's say it's you in the to form. Were you in the to form able to win? Because technically it could be the usted form as well, right? Well, let's do it in the to form. So to be able to is poder right here. What's the to form for poder? Pudiste. So we say pudiste. And then to win is ganar right here. Do you have to conjugate ganar? No, you don't. Because if you have two verbs, only the first verb is conjugated and the second verb is left in the infinitive form, just like it is in English. To win. And ganar means to win. Pudiste ganar. Just so you know, if you are in Mexico, it's common to put an S at the end of pudiste. You might say pudistes. That is what they call un mexicanismo. Colloquially, it's correct. But other countries don't do that. They'll leave the S out. So, pudiste ganar, pudistes ganar. Were you able to win? All right, now let's say she drove the car. She drove the car. How do you say she drove the car in Spanish? She drove the car. Hmm? How do you say she? Ella. Ella. It's up here. It's one of the subject pronouns. Remember, this is the first thing you want to learn in any language, especially Spanish. Everything revolves around this format, the subject pronouns. She drove the car. Ella. How do you say to drive? Conducir. You can remember that because it means to conduct. So like if you conduct, sounds like a stagecoach, right? You're the conductor. So conducir means to drive. She drove. It's one of the J ones. Ella condujo. Ella condujo. Ella condujo. And then how do you say car? El carro. Is that the only way? No, there's other ways. You can say coche, el auto. Can you think of other ways to say car? Put it in the comments below. Ella condujo el carro. She drove the car. It's irregular. It's not going to be condució. No. Condujo. Ella condujo el carro. El dinero. El dinero. Let's move this up just a little bit. El condujo el carro. Okay. Dinero. What sentence can we do with dinero? I'll just put it over here. Let's say he didn't want the money. He didn't want the money. He didn't want the money. How do you say he in Spanish? Yeah, it's él. Él. How do you say to want? Do you know how to negate a verb in Spanish? In English, we use don't. I don't drive. She drives, I don't drive. But in Spanish, you simply use the word no. So él no, and then the verb is to want. In the preterite, he didn't want. Él no quiso. Él no quiso. Should be a space. Él no quiso. And then how do you say money? The money. El dinero. Él no quiso el dinero. Él no quiso el dinero. All right, let's give you guys a little homework assignment. We'll say, he didn't fit in the seat. He didn't fit in the, we'll say chair. How do you say chair in Spanish? I don't know. You'll have to find out. He didn't fit in the chair. And then, so that'll be number one. He didn't fit in the chair. And I'll be sure to write these down so I can get the answers. Anyway, so he didn't fit in the chair. And then let's do another one with one of these. All right, number two. I put the keys in the house. Yeah. Trying to avoid tricky prepositions and stuff that you may or may not know. So I put the keys in the house. And then let's do another one. My dog died. My dog died. Sorry if your dog really died. I know it's sad. But remember, it's irregular in the preterite third person. All right, and then let's do one more. Let's do let's do they read the book. They read the book. They read the book. All right. Those will be the questions to put down in the comments. Muchas gracias. Hasta unos cuantos y la mitad de un cuento. Adiós.